Welcome to the show, 5-Stripe fam. I'm AJ. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to another episode of 5-Stripe Weekly, and Atl Utd, they played DC United to a 3-2 win at the Benz on Sunday. They also welcomed the drumline from Atlanta Public Schools, where they definitely were a sound to behold. They helped the supporter section really bring a raucous atmosphere, and it was something different for sure. And it was something that, we needed it for sure when DC United, they took an early lead, and we had to come back. And we had to come back twice in this match. But, yeah, that first half, it was not spectacular. We did manage to keep a clean sheet, but it was definitely something where lackluster in terms of the quality of chances. It was, half chances at best, I think, for most of them. And, it ultimately, we had the lion's share of possession there. I think, 59%, 11 shots, but just, I think, time after time. And, we just don't look very dangerous. I think the starting 11 also maybe was a little too defensive for the opposition. I mean, DC United, a side that hadn't scored in 500 minutes, and we roll out a side that includes not only Sadic but also Wiley and Gutman. I think we probably could have done with Marcelino Moreno starting, even Cisneros with Jose Martinez, and just one of the left backs. And so it really was too defensive of a lineup for me. Not enough technicians on the pitch to break down this side. And I think you could see with the kind of goals that we scored in this match that it was, two defenders that scored, and, Brooks Lennon, who had the 2 assists for, a couple of the goals. And so it's one of those where, we had to go route one to get back in this match. But that second half started auspiciously. We gave up a goal early in the second half, and there was a good response, though. I mean, the energy dipped a little bit from the atmosphere in the stadium, but that's where that drum line did come in a little bit and helped us kind of continue and kind of spur the boys on still. But there was a corner kick soon after we conceded, and Alan Franco, he was able to guide one home with his head. It was the first goal that he had scored in 5 years. It was, since he was playing for Independiente that he last scored. But it was 1-1 in the 49th minute. And then, 5 minutes later, unfortunately, DC United, they regained the lead. And, it was another ball that, both of these goals, just really silly goals to give up. I feel like, kind of embarrassing a bit that, we should, just not be conceding to a side like DC United, really. But, then Jose Martinez in the 60th minute, he entered the game for Cisneros, and, a little bit of combination play, and Lennon, he crossed one from the byline, and, it was Jose Martinez 2 minutes on, and he leapt like a bass in the water, and he rose high above everybody else. Maybe it's a trout. Either way, he was able to rise above everybody else and head it home, and we were able to level it at 2. And it was where we needed to muster up something to make sure that we did not drop points against the team in the dredges of the Eastern Conference, and we were able to do that. We were able to find the meaty forehead of Juanjo Purata. He put the header away in the 70th minute, and he had scored the second goal on a header in consecutive matches, third on the season. So yeah, definitely Juanjo Purata is doing some bits for us. He has been quite the addition to our roster. But Lennon, he got 2 assists in this one. Almada also got a couple assists as well. And I mean, Amar Sejdic, he also got his first career assist in MLS. So congrats to Sejdic. But I mean, this is not a match that I think it's a banner to write home about. It's we were able to manage to come back against the, albeit very, very weak side. Wayne Rooney, he even got carded on I mean, he was definitely complaining about pretty much a lot of the calls that maybe rightfully so. I mean, there is a degree where there were a couple back passes that were picked up by Rocco Rios Novo that, I mean, he has every right to be livid. But, in terms of some of the nice stats to come out of this match, that it was the first MLS win this season in a match where we conceded the first goal. It was also the first time Atl United scored 3 goals in a match since May 7th when we beat Chicago 4-1. And that was also at the Benz. And we scored 3 headers in this match, and that's the most headed goals scored in a single match in team history. But also the benefit here is we scoot up a little bit in the Eastern Conference, but I will let you know how far up after we wrap this match review up. But we will play the Philly Union after this. It will be a very, very tough one, and I'll have that match preview with El Parcero Philly later on in the show. But that wraps it up for the review and gets us into the news. And with this win, we move within 3 points of the playoff line, 3 off from the Columbus Crew. We have 7 matches left. But as I said, actually, we're just gonna move straight on. I already covered that, but Thiago Almada, he spoke with Felipe Cardenas post-game, and he is eyeing a possible Argentina call-up in September. He knows that playing consistently well is important, and that regarding Juan Roman Riquelme, he said that they talk often, that they're family friends, and that Riquelme is his idol. But Almada, he said that Riquelme, he wanted to bring him to Boca Juniors when Almada was waiting for his MLS paperwork. I mean, right now he says that he's good in Atlanta. He didn't need much time to adapt. He said, quote, "I've never had to run this much," which I think is telling between the two different leagues. I mean, Argentina probably a little bit more skill-based, and MLS a little bit more where power and pace does you well. I think it's a little bit more physical here than say the Argentine league. But last bit of news is that Atl United 2, they fell 2-1 to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and Jackson Conway, he headed home his 8th goal of the season. That tied the Atl United 2 single season record set by Aiden McFadden in 2021. But guys, that does it for the news, and it gets us into the match preview where we have a special guest. So welcome to the match preview, and I have with me John Zapata, aka El Parcero Philly. Welcome to 5 Strike Weekly.
What's going on, AJ? It's been a while, man. It's a pleasure to be back, brother. Talk some Union versus Atlanta. Should be fun. A little bit different this time.
Yeah, a little bit different, but yes, welcome, man. Great to see you. And I am going to be honest. I am terrified of this match. You guys are going to clap us, and I'm not here for it. I am really not here for it. And because we just got a win over DC United, just barely. There's some some illegal passbacks and some some moments where we definitely looked very shaky, and yeah, we went Route 1 and got the business done. But you guys, whoo, 6-0 against Colorado Rapids. I mean, how are you feeling?
I'm obviously, I mean, how can I not feel good about it? But it's so funny how tides have kind of turned, AJ. Like, I would think back to like 2018, even maybe 2017, the thought of the Union going down to Atlanta in the Benz, or where was that? Where Georgia Tech play? Was that Gwinnett something?
Bobby Dodd.
Bobby Dodd. Even then, like, I just would feel, not good about the Union going down there, especially those days when you guys had a free-flowing attack like you did. But things have definitely changed, and I think that even this team that we're going to talk about is different from what we even saw last year in the 4 matches that we played, 2 in MLS, 2 in Champions League, and it's very dangerous. And you just mentioned 6-0. We've also did 6-0 against Houston. We did 7-0 against DC. We did 6-0 against DC in DC. And so I think the trend is clear here with the Philadelphia Union 2022, man. It's not just about defense anymore. We can tack the ball as well.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, I mean, lots of changes from the side that we saw that played 4 times against you last season. Kasper Zaboko no longer in there. Who are the new guys that are your danger men, your talisman?
Yeah, so pretty much heading into this year, the offseason plan was pretty clear. This team is pretty elite, and at many different positions they were really elite at. But when you're winning 2 straight playoff games with a combined 2 goals, like, that's not going to get the job done. And you played over 120 minutes of soccer in both those playoff games. And what happened against NYCFC in the Eastern Conference Finals, no one's going to be able to control. But the one thing you could control heading into the offseason was we need to find people up top who are going to put the ball into the net, who are going to be killers, who are going to work with your number 10, Daniel Gazak, who you can clearly tell this year is phenomenal. And we could debate if you want about the MVP or not, which, Matt Doyle in Philadelphia has done plenty already. But the style of play is still pretty prevalent, still pretty evident. They want to run that 4-4-2 diamond, but it's no longer just about pressing wherever it is on the pitch, whether it be a high press, a mid block, a low block. They can find different ways of doing it, but now they can also possess the ball, move with the ball. The chemistry between Gazak, Carranza, and Ua, we're calling our big 3. It is pretty clear. And Ua and Carranza were really the 2 main big signings that you saw in the offseason. You get Ua, who is a Danish international. He's still pretty. I would say he's like in his prime, right? He's like in his late 20s. But he was scoring at will over in the Danish soccer league, and to the point where he's like, I already done what I could at this club, and he wanted that next challenge, and the MLS has it. Unfortunately, visa was a bit of an issue, as I'm sure you know as well. Trying to get him in here was a little bit of a challenge, and then getting him healthy was another challenge, but he's slowly learning to figure it out. Carranza, however, has been the story of the offseason so far. He's been the signing of the year, in my opinion, to just steal an absolute stud away from Miami, because Miami wanted to give Higuain those chances. It is truly bad business by Miami, but we really thank them for that. And that was really the main difference. And everything else you see on this pitch, you really have seen in the past. Maybe the homegrowns is something that you might not be too familiar about. This new generation of homegrowns, I should say. But attacking the ball is definitely the theme with this team now. And they can do it as well as defend with the best of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the scary bit is you guys are almost as complete of a team as I've seen lately in this league. You guys, not much is between you guys and LAFC for the supporter shield as well. So, it's you guys are gunning for all the top things right now, and it's
we want it, man. We definitely do.
Yeah, and so it definitely, we're in the dredges of the Eastern Conference. But
what happened? I do have to ask, like, you guys were the class of this league, and I watch you guys now, and like, even the Benz is still putting up numbers as far as attendance goes, but like, what has been going on down there, AJ?
Yeah, it's very hard to explain, I would say. It's how long do you have? Because you got all day? Because I could, but
I'm sure in Philly they definitely want to hear about this, though.
Yeah, I'll give you the truncated version, the Cliff Notes. Basically, you have a lot of players that are no longer with the team that are part of the championship pedigree. You have a really unclear vision of not only recruitment, but also, coaching-wise, there's no real consistency with the hires. It's a claim of wanting to play attacking, playing on the forefront type of football, but you don't really bring in the players that fit a really clear-cut system, and so it's really just a lot of square pegs round holes of players that, have talent, but do they fit a team? And do they fit a sort of an ethos that we are trying to play with? Not really. And I think mostly right now, there's a lot of hero ball. There's a lot of players that are, head down, running towards goal, taking a pot shot. And, it's just not very team inducive. It's not a lot of good combination play. There are the moments here and there, and that's what's saving us from being just like the absolute laughingstock of the league. But it's essentially saving us from being DC United. But it is something where, Jose Martinez, a bit of, a shell of himself at the moment because, 2 years after the, ACL tear, it's just that, it takes a couple of years to get back too. And whether he does get back ever, I hope so. But it is a lot of issues that, are born from the higher ups. And you see Darren Eales, he's made an exit to Newcastle United, where the pastures were greener. Money's even greater than what we're paying for our players, and
especially Newcastle these days.
So there's a lot to unpack, but I would say that's it in a nutshell. Where also Gonzalo Pineda, really, really great assistant coach right now, still getting his bearings as a head coach, and a mistake here and there for sure. Every single game of like, okay, posthumously we're just like, why do you do that? Oh, he shouldn't have done that. It's just like, I think vibes wise, he's been really great for the fan base, but you still have to, when you pay this much for players and also for the payroll, you got to produce. And we have a ton of injuries as well. Which is pretty much up and down our spine. Brad Guzan, Miles Robinson, Ozzy Alonso. And then Jose Martinez was out for some time. Marcelo Moreno, Thiago Almada a little bit. That's going to gut any team as well. Yeah. So that more or less gets us to where we are. But, what's happening over on this match on Wednesday at Subaru Park, that's what has me afraid, because it is, we're at your home turf. It's going to be, I'm, like I said, I am more, by and large, afraid of what the scoreline's going to be.
Look, I'm not used to being in, like, this type of position where, like, I do feel like the Union have the clear upper hand. But I will say this, like, I've seen Atlanta a couple times this year, and one thing I do notice is that the defense has definitely fallen off a little bit. And, you mentioned the injuries, and you can't really control Goose and Miles Robinson going down the way they did. But I watched Colorado put out a back line of 5 guys because of their injuries. They even had Keegan Rosenberry playing as a center back. And the Union just literally did what they wanted as far as the attack goes. Crosses, Gazak, Karansanuwa just doing their 1-2 passes as they always do. And I do see that being a little bit of an issue. You guys struggle a little bit with DC United and their attack. And, DC United as well. You guys had some good opportunities, but DC, as I know, doesn't have a really good defense. And how are you guys going to translate to our defense has been pretty damn good as well. So it definitely has not been looking good. But to your point, I wanted to talk about real quick about Atlanta. One thing I do remember from the winning team the culture was so infectious, and it had that city with the same vibe. I don't really see that to this day with Atlanta. Like, I look at Philly, right? I look at that locker room. It's a bunch of dudes, or dressing room, sorry. I look at that dressing room. It's a bunch of dudes who have a chip on their shoulder. It's, I think the guy who makes the most money is Michael Uwa, and he's making like $2 million, if that. A bunch of guys who are just hungry, want to win, want to prove something. Jim has done a great job of keeping those guys all together. And so, to me, it's all about the culture. And I do think that's something Atlanta needs to do. And I do hope that Pineda is actually giving your guys water breaks, because that's something that wasn't there with Heinz.
Nope. It's seemingly he's a player's kind of coach for sure.
That's good.
So
It's important.
there's definitely a difference for that. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there is definitely that winning attitude. I mean, there are some players that have already won some stuff, or they have their heads turned a little bit. Even coming into the side. So you have guys that are already wanting to play in Europe. You have guys who maybe came from Europe from a winning side, and they're just here to earn that big paycheck here. And so there is a stark difference, I think, in kind of the attitude, the hunger that you're talking about, and that's a great point that it's not there right now for Atlanta United.
I think that's what made Tata Martino so big, because I do think that you still had players during those days that still had that same sentiment, but he still had those guys believe, like, put in the work right now and trust in these guys, and then you will get sold off like Miguel Almiron did, and that's the tough job, man.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. It's playing with the egos and coaching those egos. It's very, very important. And yeah, I mean, Gonzalo Pineda, he's a newish coach, so I mean, there's a lot for him to learn, and the learning curve is steep. And this league is unforgiving, but for the large part, obviously you can pretty much kind of flood or fudge your way to the playoffs a little bit. There is that possibility, but yeah, let's get to the starting 11 predictions. Who do you think starts for Philly? Is it a changed lineup a little bit? I swear, I hope there is, because somebody from your bench a little bit. Just spare us a little bit, man.
I'm intrigued, because we play 2 matches in this week, right? And then Saturday we have to go up to North Jersey to face off against the Red Bull. So obviously it's going to be an emotional game as well. But I would predict that obviously in goal you're still staying with Andre Blake, right? Like that's not going anywhere. As my co-host Justin would say, write that in permanent marker. Your back line is where I would have the question at that right back position. You're going to have Kai Wagner at the left back with Glesnes and Elliott as your center backs. But then we have this thing at right back. Olivier Mbaizo was a starter at the beginning of the year, and you guys saw Olivier Mbaizo last year. He kind of lost his job after the second match to Nathan Harriel, who was a homegrown player, and Nathan did a really fine job. Then Jim decided to go back to Olivier Mbaizo for a match, and Olivier kind of just stole the position. Is this a spot where Jim decides to rotate that spot? I would assume yes. I would expect Nathan Harriel to start out there on Wednesday night. But that's one position you guys want to definitely keep an eye out. The diamond will stay the same in the midfield, the 4-4-2 diamond. I do believe that we're going to go with a more defense-oriented type of midfield, meaning Leon Flock will start at the left with Brujo Martinez at the 6. You have Ali Bedoya at the right, and then Daniel Gazek at the tip of the diamond, which I don't think you guys have faced Daniel Gazek yet, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys are going to get a good taste of Mr. Gazek. And then your 2 forwards is going to be interesting as well. Again, this is another tough one. You do have 2 matches in 1 week. Mikel Uwa's fitness is still a bit of question. He hasn't really played a full match in his Union career. I would expect Corey Burke to get the start here, and Corey Burke is actually in really good form. He had a really solid 20-30 minutes against Colorado on Saturday, but he's confident right now, and he's got a couple goals so far in the past couple matches. So I would expect Corey Burke and Julian Carranza at the other 2 forwards.
Yeah, so definitely still pretty much sans maybe 2 players, probably the starting 11 that you guys normally have.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's important.
Yeah,
It's important.
so, yeah, And yeah, it's probably you would likely want them to as well. Of course, chasing the Sports Shield, so makes sense. And yeah, for me, I think yeah, it won't be too changed as well either. You're not going to change a side maybe too much when you just win, but even though when you like skirt by on that win, either way, Rocco Rios Novo in between the sticks for me. I think it's probably going to be Lennon since he got the 2 assists. That's going to be starting on Wednesday, but I think I would see also Ronald Hernandez coming in at right back. I think we're going with a 5-man back line. We're changing it up because it is that with the 2 strikers up top, with also, I mean, maybe one of the defenders kind of drifting into midfield a little bit to try to at least matchup wise in midfield with you guys, I think is what's going to happen. So Purata, Franco, and Campbell, the center backs, and Gutman, that left wing back. Yeah, Lennon would be that right wing back. And then in midfield, I think Sosa probably is going to get the start, but maybe come off in that second half a little bit. But Sosa, Ibarra, the 2 that I think we have to play a little bit more defensive. And Sejdic played the last match, but I don't know if he's got 2 matches within him with the 2 games. So and then I think Almada is the other midfielder with also Araújo up top with Jose Martinez, the 2 strikers up top. I would say that kind of gives you guys something to think about a little bit on the break, since I would suspect,
Yes.
We would definitely want to be able to possess the ball, but right now I don't think we should be very, very pragmatic against you guys. And yeah, sit to frustrate you guys. I think I want to see something way different from Gonzalo Pineda, and against the top side, not try to do what we're not comfortable doing, which possessing it against a very, very good side that can play and that can play around us and then can slice through a defense pretty easily, and especially on set pieces, which we are terrible at. Yeah.
And we're pretty good at, so.
yeah, exactly. I think this aids perfectly into the score prediction. John.
Well, real quick, let me ask you. So, is the thought going into Philly just sitting back, using a little bit of a low block, parking the bus a little bit?
I think that's what we haven't done in a really long time.
It's not a bad idea. That's why I mentioned it.
Should do, because I think we have the players that can break on you guys. Almada and Araújo definitely can find some space, can find that quality. And then Jose Martinez, albeit he's with the ACL, he's lost a little step here and there, but his best chances come from the counter, or from at least where the defense is set. So it's definitely, I think it's wise if we do. But yes, you have anything else or score prediction?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to get that, but no, as far as score prediction goes, man, listen. It's going to be a fun night, and Philly fans still remember all the back and forth that was going on with Atlanta last year during Champions League. So they're going to be up for this one. I can guarantee it. And it's also going to be Dollar Dog Night in the ballpark. So if anyone's going to be in Chester, get your hot dogs in. But here's my real question. The Union at home are pretty unstoppable. Like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, they're a different animal. So my question is, will it be more or less than 3 goals being scored by the Union? That's literally the question that we have to ask here. I think that it's going to be a different story in Atlanta, but in Chester, I think the Union will have the upper hand, this being a 4-1 victory for the Philadelphia Union.
You said 4-1?
4-1. 4-1.
Yeah. I had 3-1, and so with the tactics that I mentioned, if we try to play against you like mano a mano, if we try to like actually like play out of the back against you, yeah, no, it's gonna be a massacre. So
Dude,
Yeah,
just clear the ball. Clear the ball. I'm telling
seriously.
you, it's not
It's like we're playing against the Red Bulls in the 2018 playoffs. Like, just get rid of it. Like, yo, like, I don't care what pride you have at this moment. Do not get embarrassed. And yeah, it's like, here's the thing. This league plays really well for all those bogey teams. And maybe we could be that bogey team for you guys for this good run that you guys are on.
Yeah, man. Real quick before I do go, man, I just wanted to say this, and I know Philly fans don't want to hear this, but I really do hope that Atlanta does come back to promise, because AJ, well, I'll tell you what, when you guys are winning and selling out the Benz, like, as an American soccer fan, as a fan of this league, like, it was cool to kind of brag about that, and I would use that. And the one thing I don't want you guys to fall into, because you guys just played them, and we did talk about this 2 weeks ago. I don't want you guys to fall into DC, where you guys had your moment, right? The late 2010s was your moment, and you guys changed the league, and kind of like DC did in the beginning. And now you see what's going on with DC. They're literally irrelevant, and they're kind of a joke. I don't want you guys to fall into that, because what you guys had was really special, and I really do hope that it can turn around, man, for real.
Well, yeah, man. Cheers. That's really, really kind words. And yeah, likewise. I mean, I think, what the Philly Union are doing right now, embarrassing teams, is kind of good for this league, because it's it's one of those things where it wakes up not only some fan bases, but also some front offices where they're like, oh shit, yeah, we should probably do something about this. Yeah, we're.
But you also don't have to spend like Atlanta or like the Galaxy. You could do it the Philly Union way too. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and so that's that kind of shining example is you guys, New York Red Bulls, like, it's just good academies, good recruitment, and it's just smart business decisions, large in part. So, but yeah, dude, John, El Parcero Philly, always good to talk to you.
Always a pleasure,
and,
man.
Yeah, man. Let the good people know where to find you.
Yeah, guys, so you can definitely check me out on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Parcero Philly. I am also part of Duke by the River. This will also be broadcast on Duke by the River as well, and we broadcast every week before and after every match, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Thank you so much to Atlanta United Fan TV. It's always a pleasure coming back on, man.
Oh, man, yeah. And yes, we will hopefully not see a really, really lopsided score, but hopefully it's like a draw or something. Oh my God. Hopefully we can walk away with a point. Anyway, thank you, John.
Appreciate you.
And thanks again to John Zapata, aka El Parcero Philly. And that does it for the match preview and pretty much the entire episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, if Atl United were to be able to pull off a decisive win against Philly, will it make you believe we have a chance to not only make the playoffs, but to make a run? Let us know in the comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I've been AJ, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.